interpret bravery as listening to your intuition and doing what you know you need to do, even if it's painful. There is almost always pain involved, but less than if you go against what you know you need to do. Bravery is the opposite of comfort. If you're not faced with opportunities to be brave regularly, there's a good chance you're going through life unintentionally and on autopilot. Or you've found yourself living in your comfort zone and there's no growth there. It could simply be getting yourself to go exercise, pushing yourself that bit harder in the workout, or approaching the barista because they mixed up your coffee order. Leaving your job, breaking up, navigating that breakup, moving to a new place, starting a new phase of life. We logically understand that a lot of these situations, the big or the small ones, require some amount of courage and bravery. And that most of the time, whatever the situation is, it often ends up serving us really well and is probably the best possible outcome. However, in these times, it can be so horribly difficult or feel even impossible to take any sort of action that we know we need to take. Most of us will often default to this. It's great to know that many of us will eventually take the action that we need to, but in this scenario where we're waiting for it to be painful, we're almost forced to, it's kind of coming from a negative place. We take the action because we don't feel like we have another choice, or it's too uncomfortable at this point not to. We're not actually doing this despite the pain. We're now doing it to alleviate the pain. We're entering this from a negative place, unsure, uncertain of ourselves, kind of on the back foot. And that can be fine, sometimes. But imagine if you'd taken action sooner, when it was still scary to do so. The inner power that comes from taking control, taking action, and walking into something that feels right, but also feels painful, doesn't make a lot of sense, or is uncomfortable, it's unreal. And what is this obsession with being comfortable? Comfort is the opposite of growth. We can't grow when we're just staying the same and being comfortable. And growth is literally part of our human nature. It's how we got to where we are today. Without growth, I don't even know where we'd want to be. To be better, to grow, to achieve, to somewhat never be satisfied, and to want to learn up until our final days. That's a deep, fundamental characteristic of being human. And as I said, it's how we got here today, to probably what is the laziest society in human history. We are obsessed with convenience, with saving time, making things easier for ourselves. We basically do nothing for ourselves anymore. And worse, we expect to have to do nothing for ourselves. The goal for a lot of us is to be comfortable, which is a more than fine goal to have and has actually been shared by millions of humans before us, to provide a comfortable and safe life for you and your family, to ensure food, a roof, love, and connection. But comfort today means something entirely different. It basically means nothing. In this culture of fast, quick convenience, readily made things for us, things that can be provided to us in a nanosecond, apart from earning a living, there's not much for us to do. You can, of course, truthfully say that we live in a world of abundance, but humans need a purposeful and fulfilling existence. A life without purpose is unfulfilling and unenjoyable. This life of comfort is actually incredibly uncomfortable. I think many of us have fallen into this way of living because it's a lot easier to default to comfort and to choose comfort over being vulnerable or taking a risk. It's always taken bravery to go after what you want and pursue what lights you up. But now it also takes bravery to purposely go against all the things that might make our lives that much easier or that much more comfortable, to do things that many people aren't. Another way of phrasing this is referring to your higher self. You must make daily choices that align with what your higher self would choose and the choices that align with the life that you want. Action begets action. So if you choose bravery, that begets bravery. And we know this. We know how we feel when we, for example, spend a lot of time scrolling on social media. And then we also know how we feel when we do something that lights us up. When I spend time on social media, even a little bit, I feel lethargic, upset with myself, stuck in my head and thinking about other people's lives and what they're doing rather than focusing on my immediate surroundings and what I'm focusing on and the goals that I have. I even start questioning the goals that I have and wonder if I'm doing the right thing. And when I'm doing something that lights me up, I feel so energized and confident within myself and happy and fulfilled, and I can't wait to do more of it and get back into it. I feel motivated and it carries through everything else in my day. It completely changes my day, and then when I do that day after day after day, it quickly changes my life. It's brave to go against the grain, to go against what we've done before. Our habits, routines, tendencies, inclinations. Anytime we step out of our comfort zone, it's an act of bravery and it takes courage. Every time I'm faced with stepping out of my comfort zone, like getting up on a winter's morning to come to the beach for sunrise, I'm tired, it's dark, or even before a workout, there's that moment of resistance where I don't want to push through and I seriously consider abandoning ship, and I almost start talking myself out of it, and I often do start talking myself out of it. But when I push through and I take that step, I don't think I have ever regretted it once in my life. I pretty much always learn something, and I am at the very least proud that I pushed past the resistance. If you've alleviated potential risks and aren't doing anything stupid, there aren't really any downsides, especially if your acts of bravery are leading you to the life you desire and the person you want to be.